How many of you have opened up a video, saw that it was longer than a minute, and decided it was too long? I know I have. Now imagine growing up with that kind of content from the time you're old enough to hold a tablet. What happens when the same child is asked to sit down and read for only 20 minutes? There is no music, there are no notifications, nothing on the page changing every few seconds. When I first researched the topic, I thought the answer was simple. Technology was destroying children's attention spans, and doctors were calling the result ADHD. The more evidence I read, the more I realized that answer was too easy. I compared national reading data with peer reviewed research on screen use and ADHD. That matters because reading affects almost every school subject. It also matters because attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD, is too serious to reduce to boredom during one assignment. Today, I want to separate three questions. Are the reading scores failing? What does screens use have s- what does screen use have to do with attraction? And when does distraction get confused with ADHD? Before blaming technology, we first need to prove that reading decline is real. It is. In a 2025 report on the 2024 National Assessment of Educational Progress, the National Center for Education Statistics reported that the average fourth grade reading score fell 2 points from 2022 and 5 points from 2019. The same report found that only 31% of fourth graders performed at or above NAEP proficiency level. NAEP warns that its proficiency level is not the same thing as the state definition of a reading at grade level. The scores went down. Here's where I have to be careful. A lower score proves that performance changed, not why it has changed. The assessment cannot separate the facts of pandemic disruptions, attendance, and technology for us. Technology may be part of the explanation, but the reading scores alone cannot prove that. Look it up. The decline is real. The harder question is what technology has to do with it. Heavy screen reading use is connected to attention problems, but the connection is not automatically a cause. In a 2022 systemic review published in Developmental Neuropsychology, Rena Santos and her research team found that most of the studies they examined connected greater screen time with attention problems in children. The phrase connected with matters because it does not prove causation. A child who already struggles to focus might spend more time on screen because the screen holds that child's attention more easily. The type of screen use matters too. Watching a lecture is not the same as rapidly scrolling through short videos. Reading an article on a laptop is not the same as switching between apps every few seconds. If we place both activities under a single level of screen time, we hide differences that may matter. The fairest conclusion is that heavier screen use is associated with attention problems, while distraction of that effect is not completely settled. Slow down. That distinction becomes more important when ordinary distraction gets compared with ADHD. This is where my original idea started to fall apart. A short attention span does not automatically mean a child has ADHD. It also does not prove doctors are widely misdiagnosing children because of technology. An ADHD diagnosis is based on a pattern of symptoms and problems they cause, not one distracted moment. Age and setting can also change how a child behavior looks. In a 2019 systemic review published in European Child and Adolescent Psychology, researchers Josephine Holland and Kapil Sale found that 16 of the 20 studies they reviewed reported higher ADHD diagnosis or medication rates among children who were younger than their classmates. That finding gives us a real reason to be cautious because a younger student may naturally be less mature. But this evidence has limits too. It suggests that some diagnostic mistakes may happen, not that technology is creating millions of false cases. It also does not make ADHD less real for the children who actually have it. Once I stopped forcing these issues into one simple explanation, the evidence made more sense. Generation Alpha, fourth grade and below scores have fallen. Research connects heavier screen use with attention problems, but that does not settle causation. Finally, the relative age evidence shows why ADHD evaluations need context. It does not prove widespread technology driven misdiagnosis. Generation Alpha is not broken. They are growing up in a world where almost every app is competing for their attention. That environment may make deep reading harder. At the same time, distraction and ADHD are not the same thing. We should take the reading decline seriously without pretending one cause explains all of it. We should take ADHD seriously enough not to label every distracted child. The evidence becomes clearer when we stop looking for one easy answer.